In the quiet hours before dawn, when the world is neither asleep nor awake, there are places where the wind seems to carry a sound that is not entirely natural. A long, mournful cry. A wail that rises and falls like grief itself. For centuries, people have whispered of a figure who is neither ghost nor spirit, but something older. Something bound to family fate and death. This is the story of the Banshee. The name comes from an ancient phrase meaning woman of the fairy mount. According to tradition, she does not cause death. She does not choose who will die. Instead, she is a messenger, a watcher, a herald whose cry announces that someone's time has come. Descriptions of the Banshee vary. Some say she appears as a young woman with long flowing hair, her face pale with sorrow. Others claim she is an old weathered figure, wrapped in a dark cloak, her eyes filled with centuries of mourning. In some tales her hair is silver, in others red as autumn leaves, but always she is crying. And that cry is unmistakable. It is not simply a scream, nor the sound of an animal. Witnesses have described it as a layered sound, part sobbing, part singing, part keening. The traditional lament once performed at funerals. To hear it, they say, is to feel an overwhelming sense of loss before the loss has even occurred. Unlike many supernatural legends, the Banshee is deeply personal. She is said to follow certain families across generations, appearing only to them, as if tied to their lineage by an ancient bond. In this way, she is less a monster to be feared, and more a tragic guardian, a reminder that death is not an intrusion, but a passage. Stories of her have been told for over 1,000 years, passed from fireside to fireside, carried through oral tradition long before they were ever written down. In these stories, the boundary between the natural world and the unseen one is thin. Hills may conceal hidden realms, winds may carry voices, and grief itself may take form. Today, belief in the Banshee has faded, yet the legend endures, not because people still fear hearing her cry, but because she represents something universal. The human need to understand death, to give shape to mourning, and to believe that no one passes from this world entirely alone. Whether spirit, symbol, or story, the Banshee remains one of the most haunting figures of folklore. Not a bringer of death, but its witness. And perhaps in the lonely places of the world, when the night wind rises and falls like a lament, her voice is still carried on the air. Many of the earliest written references to these traditions appear in medieval Irish literature, including manuscripts such as the Book of Leinster, which preserved oral legends that had existed for generations. Accounts of Banshee encounters are especially associated with regions of Ireland, particularly along the rugged landscapes of County Kerry and near waterways like the River Shannon, places where isolation, history, and atmosphere help shape enduring folklore. But whether the Banshee was ever truly heard is not the question that has kept this legend alive. What matters is why the story endured. In a world where death was once a constant companion, arriving without warning, without explanation, people searched for a way to understand it. The Banshee gave sorrow a voice. She transformed loss into something that could be heard, imagined, and perhaps accepted. She was never a destroyer. She was a reminder, a presence said to stand at the threshold between this life and whatever comes next. Today, the hills are quieter, the old beliefs softened by time, yet the tale remains, carried through generations not as fear, but as heritage, a reflection of how humanity has always tried to make sense of goodbye. And so, the next time the wind rises in the dark, bending through trees or across empty fields, listen closely, because for centuries, people believed that in such moments they were not hearing the wind at all, but a voice, mourning before we do.